Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the View of Star Trek Discovery. Now, we've been watching a lot about Berman recently, and Sarek has been part of the story for a very long time. We're starting to know a lot more about the characters. Um, the first episodes that I am going to talk about is the one with the creature. Now, Berman obviously finds out that the creature seems to be not dealing with it very well, with the teleporting, with the spore transporting at the end of that episodes that we talked about originally, and we didn't know really what happened to it, and we get to find out a lot more about that, what happens and why it's like that. Um, we definitely find out what Black Alert is, and finally we know what it is, and it's basically when they transport, basically. So I think that's really good. That's really acknowledged that is Black Alert. It's a bit odd. Um, so I think it's the first episode was very interesting. They they definitely find out that the creature is definitely getting hurt when it transports them every time, um, because it's been genetically changed to do that, and it automatically does with the spores and stuff like that. Now, the captain goes out and goes on a trip. We don't know why. He just ends up going on the trip at the beginning of the thing, and he gets captured by the Klingons. Now, the Klingons really, really do look grim in this. Um, they they took him in the jail, and all that stuff with a couple of other crew members, and a guy from a distant planet who's trying to get on with stuff and that kind of thing. So um, he ends up being really a bit of a tattletale kind of in the end. He's a kind of likable character, um, and it's very strange. It's not it's not a loving character, but you feel kind of strange. You feel kind of sorry for him in the end. It does remind me a bit more of the way Kirk, the original Star Trek series, like Kirk was. It does remind me of that kind of style of person. That they had him dressed up a bit like that. It was kind of nice to see that. It was very rogue and that kind of thing. It was kind of very that kind of style. The Klingons were very kind of their typical selves. They did speak a little bit more English in this episode, what is quite what I think is necessary to do. I do like to see them speak Klingon, but when it takes over the whole talking, it really is kind of annoying not being able to follow the story properly. So they do end up escaping, and they jump with the creature, and the creature is definitely getting hurt, and it closes up on itself, and it just doesn't want to do anything after they get to this place where they're holding the captain. Basically says, look, we can't do any teleports, and with this we can't do this technology anymore. It's hurting this creature. And so they're trying to really find out what can they do to fix this problem. So they do. They say they can inject their cells with this DNA, what interacts with the spores, and the doctor and I think he's the engineer find out this way of doing it, and the engineer ends up is it doctor? Is it doctor? I think it's the engineer. Yeah, the engineer puts himself with the spores and saves the captain. Saves the captain gets out, and they save themselves by injecting themselves and getting out of there. But obviously, he survives just basically, and he's 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 very shook up. He obviously has a relationship with the Doctor, and it's really nice to see that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's an interesting episode for sure. Now the next episode is a lot more to do. Uh, Basically Spock's father, Sarek. So it ends up that he was supposed to be going on sort of a peace trade talk or something, the starting talk with the Klingons anyway, and he doesn't end up getting there. He gets blown up, and it is very much of the times it sort of pushes what's going on at the moment. Guys, if you don't know, please look in your history if you're looking at this later. And it ends up that Burnham is really connected to Sarek, really in a crucial way. They're really interconnected with each other. And she feels that he is hers. They are trying to find him, and the only way of finding him is to connect him with his dream world. But there's something very strange in the dream world, a bit like this actually. And he is relating his dying to when she was trying to, she was kind of, getting, after Agree, she was trying to get in higher Klingon, not Klingon, Vulcan, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Structure, in the society, doing something for them. So it's very odd. He doesn't really, in his dream world, he doesn't really want her to know anything. He's very kind of, he wants to push her away and all that stuff. But the only way of making sure she can find him is to get him to wake up and at least press the, the button to tell them where he is, because they know vaguely where he is, but they can't get to him. But it turns out in sort of the dreamy world that she didn't get picked because she was human, right? And they talk a bit about the Enterprise in a couple of this episode or so, and they talk about Spock. Now, Spock, if you don't know, got into the whole thing of being, the typical thing they do at Vulcan, and he moved away, and he talks about that, and he talks about how he got hurt with that stuff. And so it's very interconnected into what you would say the old series and the old films are like. Spock does talk about that stuff with his father, and so I think that's really good. I honestly am not 100% on these sets yet, and I would like to know a bit more about the crew. I think we definitely need to know about the crew. The captain is certainly an odd creature. He's definitely off his he's definitely, he's been affected by the war, you can tell, and it's very odd. But anyway, we'll see what happens next week, hopefully, and hopefully I will do them every 2 weeks or once a week, depending on how they're good and how they go and stuff. And I'll see you next time. But thank you for watching. Bye bye for now. Bye.